Hey guys, what's going on? It's Neil here, joined by Jason. And a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if it was on the podcast or a live stream.
It was on the podcast.
You brought up the idea, or maybe you saw it somewhere, of a potentially all-Canadian division because of what's going on, because of COVID-19. We don't really know what's going to happen next season. Are the borders going to be closed? Are there going to be 4 separate bubbles? Are only the Canadian teams going to have to play against Canadian teams? So that got me thinking, okay, well, what if they redid the divisions just for the next couple of years? It gets complicated because in the next couple of years, Seattle joins. So I've done this with the intention of allowing Seattle to join next season, the season after next season, and then it can eventually transition into maybe the original or the current, I guess, technically divisions or something else. But if Canada has to play only Canadian teams, I think they're going to have to change the divisions. Like, divisions won't even matter at that point. So This is a minor solution, and it's not even perfect. There's some teams in certain divisions that I've created that don't even make sense. So it's about the conversation. Now, you haven't seen these. I'm going to present them to you, I guess, and get your thoughts. But it's always kind of good to bounce off ideas like this, even though they'll probably never happen. So if I transition to this screen, you will see a very large map of North America. Now, I'm going to go through this one team at a time, and I'm going to tell you what all 4 divisions' names are. And I've renamed them, but some of them are kind of the same. You'll see. So let's start off with the S division, which I'm going to call the South Division. Okay. In this division is Vegas, Tampa Bay, San Jose, LA, Florida, Dallas, Arizona, and Anaheim. Okay? So this is basically the zone of this South Division. It's kind of a silly name for a division, I'm sure. The names don't really matter. I just went with the most generic thing. So if we do the South Division, that means we have a North Division, which is basically Canada. So we've got Winnipeg, Vancouver, Toronto Maple Leafs, Ottawa, Montreal, Edmonton, and Calgary. And that's kind of what that swash looks like. Now, this is all Canada right now. I could call it the Canadian division, but I didn't want to do that because when Seattle joins, they can kind of be in the North Division. So they will be eventually the only American team in the Canadian division, or the North Division.
So this is assuming the border opens?
This is assuming the border eventually, this is after COVID-19, but there still may be, they don't want to go to this structure for only 1 year and then go back to the original one. This one could last even past COVID-19, maybe 3 or 4 years, something like that, and then go back. So this is kind of a not really a long-term plan, but not really a short-term plan either. It's just kind of a Band-Aid basically to the situation.
Okay.
So I put Seattle in that North Division. And here's where things get extremely complicated. North, South, easy, whatever. But the Central Division, I've put St. Louis, I've put Nashville, Minnesota, Detroit, Colorado, Chicago. Things get a little complicated with Columbus, as you'll see here in a little bit, and Carolina. And that's kind of what that swash looks like. So you'll understand why it gets complicated, because I'll go to the other division. Sorry, by the way, that was the C division. I just named it Central. So North, South, Central. This one's just called the Metro Division. So that name actually doesn't change at all. And we have Washington, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, the Rangers, the Islanders, Jersey, Buffalo, and Boston. And that is kind of what that swash looks like. So here are the divisions that I've come up with. And here are the complications or things that are an issue. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Pittsburgh Penguins are very close to each other. You could argue that, okay, well, why isn't Carolina in this kind of Metro division and push Pittsburgh over into the Central? Well, I mean, Pittsburgh's not really Central, and neither is Carolina. So there's a big issue between kind of this area of the map. I didn't really know what to do, but it felt kind of smart to keep all these teams together. But when you look at the divisions and the travel time, and you look at this one, these teams could take buses. They wouldn't even have to fly, basically. But then you have, look at the distance in the north, look at the distance in the south of travel. Colorado is kind of like way out there. So I didn't really want to split it up by time zones. Instead, I just went by grouping, basically, of teams. So there's the names: the North Division, the South Division, the Central Division, and the Metro Division. What are your biggest issues with what I've created?
Dallas and Colorado.
Dallas and Colorado, you think they should be switched?
I don't know. It's tricky.
It is tricky. Like, that's the problem. Should Carolina be considered in the South and Dallas be considered in the Central? Or should it stop? Like, should it go up over Colorado and go past and around Dallas, and then these teams, the Florida teams, be included in something else? Like, I don't know. It gets complicated. It gets complicated. I don't think there's a right answer, and that's kind of the problem. Like, that's great if Canada gets its own division and stuff like that's cool, but it does complicate things.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Do you think this would work, though?
That's a lot of travel for some teams.
It is a lot of travel, but
It's unavoidable with the Canadian division, though.
It's unavoidable. If you're going to do the Canadian division, then travel doesn't matter. You're basically just saying, let's ignore travel for the 2 to 4 years that we do this. So that's why I did the South Division. I did the South Division second, and then decided on the rest of them. But I don't know. It's not fair in any way. Like, Pittsburgh versus the Islanders is closer than, we'll say Philadelphia and the Islanders is closer than any other matchup in any other division other than maybe LA and Anaheim, maybe Seattle and Vancouver. But yeah, there's no perfect system. There's no perfect. North America is just arranged in a way where it's so vast that there's no right way to do it. So
If there wasn't two Florida teams, it could work out.
I know it's good. Like, if
Because you could take one out, but that's dumb to have one out and not the other one out.
if Florida moved up to Quebec, then you could potentially put Seattle in the Central, and but still that it's like the travel distance between Seattle and any, like, it doesn't. There's no good answer. There's no, even the divisions we have now, I don't like. It's just stupid. And, like, I don't know. Because if you look at this, Tampa Bay and Florida are in the Atlantic Division currently. So is Montreal. Look at the travel time currently between these Montreal and these Florida teams. That's the same distance, basically, almost, as Arizona to Tampa in this potential South Division. So, I don't know. The Metro Division has always had the advantage since they put it in. So I guess nothing's really changed there. Except for, like, Boston goes in the Metro. Buffalo goes in the Metro. I don't know. It's tough. But, yeah, anyways, let me know in the comments how you feel, what you think, and is this possible? And what are your solutions to many of the problems that you see here that I've created? And if you want to create new divisions of your own, down in the comment section, I think that'd be pretty cool. It's always nice to see a conversation being generated, being started, and go from there. So thanks, guys, for watching. I appreciate it. Would love it if you could hit the subscribe button down below. We will catch you in the next video. Adios.